Well, now at 6, a child from North Haven is recovering after being hit by a car while getting on the school bus this morning. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brent Harden. The good news is police say the child is going to be okay. Still, it was a scary start to the morning for everyone involved. Fox 61's Solene Arif spoke with people in the area who are still shaken up tonight.
A neighbor who was home when the crash happened tells me she saw the bus had its stop sign out and its flashing lights on, but it still wasn't enough to stop the driver. Along St. John Street and Poole Road, neighbors woke up to any parent's nightmare.
I've said, oh my God, I hope it's not a child that's been hit.
Leslie Casal's yard is right across from the crash site. She didn't see the student who was hit, but she saw the aftermath.
There were 4 squad cars, there was a fire engine, there were 2 ambulances, then another small ambulance came, and more police.
North Haven police shared the driver stayed on the scene and cooperated with officers. The driver was issued an infraction, although police didn't share how much it was. North Haven Public Schools superintendent shared the student goes to Clintonville Elementary School, about 5 minutes away.
As a kid, they haven't had time to grow up if they're that little. You know, they don't know. All they know is they get on the bus.
Less than a month ago, North Haven shared they started fining drivers who illegally pass school buses. The town had cameras installed on their school buses that use AI to tell police when a car fails to stop for a school bus. That went into effect on April 13, and drivers who are caught through the new system get hit with a $250 fine on their first offense. Michael Casal thinks that's not enough.
Oh, this particular one should be higher than 250.
Yeah.
For especially hitting a child.
And his wife agrees.
And I know if I got a ticket for $250, I wouldn't do it again. But they need to, the next one should be either doubled or tripled if they do it again. You have people that will be habitual at this. They don't learn.
On Facebook, North Haven police shared they hope this crash that could have ended a lot worse reminds people that school buses don't hold up traffic for no reason. It could be a matter of life or death. Now, the superintendent of North Haven Public Schools shared with us that they're providing more support to the students and staff affected by this scary situation. In North Haven, Solene Arif, Fox 61.
Hey, Solene, thank you. Time for a look at the weather now. The rain went away today, but it's not going to stay away for very long. We're in for more as we head into Mother's Day weekend. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is here now with more. Rach, what are we looking at?
It's a wet start to the weekend, but a dry finish for Mother's Day itself. So we'll take that and run with it. There also could be an isolated shower overnight tonight into part of tomorrow, but most of your Friday is going to be nice. Yeah, it is looking like a washout on Saturday. Chilly, highs in the 50s before turning briefly brighter and drier and warmer for Mother's Day because more rain returns for early next week. Of course, we need it this time of year, right? Temperatures are close to 60 degrees in the Hartford area, low 60s in New Haven, and it is a bit breezy with gusts close to 20 miles per hour. Satellite and radar, not much to look at right now, at least over Connecticut, but you will see some showers to the northwest. And some of these showers could pass through right around, if not just before daybreak tomorrow. So we'll start the day off with temperatures in the 40s, maybe a brief passing shower before 7 a.m. Otherwise, we're looking at a cooler than average, but fair day to finish the work week before rain returns. We'll get a closer look at Mother's Day weekend coming up, Brent.
I know that trial was a joke and they would have convicted a bologna sandwich.
Those comments from the man convicted of throwing his 7-month-old son off a bridge came as he took the stand in the civil trial, I should say, against DCF. Now, along with the child's father, his mother also testified, describing her fears leading up to the child's death back in 2015. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules shares the emotional testimony and the parents' claims against DCF's involvement.
Tony Moreno answered questions about his conversations with DCF. He also denied throwing his son off the Aragoni Bridge.
Well, he dropped him in the river.
Nope.
You didn't drop him in the river?
Nope.
Moreno has been in prison since 2017, serving a 70-year prison sentence after being convicted of murder and risk of injury to a child. On the stand, Moreno mentioned that he had a few phone calls with a DCF worker before the incident, but doesn't recall them asking about abuse allegations. The attorney questioned Moreno about a police report in which he told a witness he feared what would happen to his son, Aiden, if he took his own life.
The only way he knew that his son would be safe was to kill his son and then himself. Do you recall making those statements?
I know for a fact I never said that.
Aiden's mother, Adrienne Oyola, also took the stand.
Can I have a minute, please?
Yes.
She was overwhelmed with emotion when she saw a picture of herself holding her son. She testified that her relationship with Moreno was riddled with domestic violence and abuse. She said he would often threaten her life and threaten to take Aiden. She says she told a DCF worker about the abuse.
Every time she says that she is going to break up with him, he threatens to kill himself, so she stays in the relationship. Did you tell her that?
Yes.
Did you tell her that in a way that you were serious?
Yes.
A temporary restraining order was approved on June 17th. Oyola said she expected a DCF worker to be present at the court hearing to extend the order. However, she says DCF never showed up. The restraining order was vacated on June 29th. On a call the next day with DCF, she said she was fearful now that the order was dropped.
You did not know what Mr. Moreno was capable of. You said that again. Why did you say that again?
To ring some alarms, to let them know, like, I think things are going to get a lot serious now that he has essentially access to Aiden.
She says the last time she saw Aiden was July 4th. He was killed the next day and his body was found 2 days after that.
He killed my son.
She went on to tell the court that one of the things she misses the most about her son is his unique laugh.
It was very loud, very squeaky. So I always love to get him to laugh.
Oyola says Aiden would be a great kid if he were still alive. She also said during her testimony that she didn't feel DCF did much to protect her or her son after the temporary restraining order was lifted. In Waterbury, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Alicia, thank you. Just into our newsroom here, President Donald Trump will soon make his way to Connecticut. On May 20th, he will deliver the keynote address during graduation ceremonies at the U.S. Coast Guard Academy in New London. The president will congratulate the cadets and newest military leaders for the Coast Guard on their hard work and their dedication. In other news tonight, police are investigating after they say shots were fired into a home in Middletown. Police say officers responded to a home on Inverness Lane around 1:30 a.m. after reports of gunfire. They say officers determined numerous rounds had been fired into the second floor of the home, but thankfully there were no injuries reported. Police say it appears to be an isolated incident and there is currently no threat to the public. Anyone with information on what happened there is asked to contact Middletown Police. Also tonight, a man has died after police say he drove into a house in Killingly, and this is what our crew saw this morning. According to state police, Matthew Sherman drove off the road and hit multiple mailboxes, a street sign, and then crashed into a home on Hartford Pike. That's Route 101. Police say the front of the house is destroyed and the rest of the house had structural damage as well, so much so that it's been deemed unsafe and is fenced off.
It looks like the front of the house was sheared off, and there was quite a bit of smoke. So I thought somebody's furnace had exploded.
Now, neighbors tell us no one was home during the crash, but Sherman died at the scene. Right now, we're waiting to hear what led up to the crash. State police is handling the investigation. I-95 was closed down temporarily today after a bus caught fire in Old Saybrook. Check out these pictures. The Old Saybrook Fire Department said it happened just after 7 this morning between exits 67 and 68. They say thankfully all passengers got off the bus safely before fire crews arrived. Officials did not say what caused the fire. The road was closed while crews worked to put out the fire, but it has since reopened. And health experts are working around the clock to contact trace the hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship. It's claimed the lives of 3 passengers so far, with more infected. The World Health Organization has alerted at least 12 countries of passengers who disembarked from the boat as health officials race to contain the spread of the virus. Brian Abel has the latest from Washington.
A race to contain a deadly virus. Doctors Wednesday flying a passenger from the quarantine ship MV Hondius to Amsterdam, then taken to a German hospital for observation and testing. It's among the latest steps by health experts to trace and stop the spread of the hantavirus.
It is incredibly important to be isolating these patients. These patients should not be walking around without a mask, even though they feel healthy.
Before the severity of the situation was understood, at least 30 passengers from around the globe disembarked from the boat at various ports and are now trying to be tracked down. WHO alerting these 12 countries of nationals who got off the boat at St. Helena Island. In the U.S., officials confirm 2 passengers are being monitored in Georgia, another in Arizona, and the New York Times reports California residents were on board. Other American passengers reportedly returned to Texas and Virginia. Symptomatic patients in Switzerland, South Africa, and the Netherlands are receiving care.
Just want to show that if we follow public health measures, we can break this chain of transmission, and this doesn't need to be a large epidemic.
Spain has accepted the World Health Organization's request for the ship to arrive in the Canary Islands so the remaining 146 people from 23 different countries can get off, return home, and be monitored. Despite the frantic work, WHO's Director General insists countries are prepared and the risk of further spread is minimal.
WHO assesses the public health risk as low.
Brian Abel, Fox 61.